I, 22F, am a triplet with two brothers, but one of my brothers passed away when we were 14. Whenever anyone new asks if I have any siblings, I just say I'm a triplet with two brothers. I'm not trying to trauma dump when doing small talk with someone I'm not very close to. From talking to people in grief support, I thought this was relatively common. I started working at a new job 3 months ago. I like my coworkers but still feel like an outsider to them. So when they asked how many siblings I have, I gave the above answer. No problems there. One week, I didn't have my car, so my other triplet brother picked me up every day. My coworker, Kate, saw him and thought he was cute and asked me to set them up. I said no because he has a girlfriend. She asked about my other brother, and I just said, he isn't available either. Not a lie, but I guess kind of omission because he's deceased and not just in a relationship. A few weeks later, I hear Kate talking shit about me to the other coworkers our age when I'm in the same lunchroom. She didn't believe that my other brother was unavailable because she saw that he's single on Insta. I have no clue what she's talking about because he never had an account. My best guess is that she assumed one of my male cousins, who shares our last name and is in pics with me and my brother, was actually the third triplet. Who knows? I never engaged with the whispers because I hate confrontation. A day after that, some of my coworkers come up to me and ask what's wrong with me. I was super confused. They then told me that my brother had SA allegations against him in college, and the real reason I didn't set him up with Kate is because I knew he was dangerous but still supported him. Apparently, Kate said she found all this out from someone who also went to my college. I'm still in the same town. I was shocked and just told them that was impossible because my brother died when he was 14. They didn't believe me and then called Kate over, and all three of them called me liars. I showed them pictures of the funeral, pictures of us at his grave, my brother and I holding his picture at our graduations. Then they all piled on me and called me a liar for not saying my brother was dead. But Kate made up a horrific allegation for no reason. They are all icing me out and whispers are going around the office. I don't know what they're saying, but no one seems to understand my side. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. I talked about my brother the way I always have. The girls made me feel like I was such a horrible person and a liar who can't be trusted and I don't understand. My family is all on my side, but they're all fiercely protective of me, and especially my deceased brother's memory, so it's biased. Am I the jerk? TLDR, I never mentioned my brother is dead to a relatively new coworker. She made us say allegations about him, which I disproved since he had already passed by then. They're all blaming me for not mentioning he passed, and not her for making up a crazy story and disrespecting him. Relevant comments. Commenter, I would make a complaint with your manager/HR about Kate making false rumors about your family and forcing you to discuss your grief. Fucking hell, even if he wasn't deceased, may he rest in peace. I'd not want Kate anywhere near me/my family. It's completely up to you and your story to explain, but maybe next time you could word it different to, he's not available. But she definitely crazy. OP, thank you for that. I work at a small private medical clinic, so we don't have any formal HR. But I'm hoping our admin manager will suffice. I'll see if I can think of any alternate wording that I could use if the question comes up again. Commenter, I'd report this, Kate, to HR. But I don't get why you are not being honest about your brother's death. It is not exposing you to any vulnerability. A properly stated sentence can save you from a lot of misunderstandings. OP, in my experience, telling people he's gone off of the bat ends up opening a whole host of unwanted questions. They're well-intentioned, but sometimes it feels invasive and opens the wound all over again. I don't hide the fact. I open up to people once I feel like they're closer to me and I can trust them with my baggage. But for me, it's too heavy to just drop in casual conversation when the only question is, how many siblings do you have? Other people definitely feel differently about that though. Commenter, honestly, I find it very weird and dehumanizing, I guess, because they don't care what kind of person they both are or to see them as a person. To me, they seem like their thought process goes, oh, pretty taken? Well, what about the other pretty? They are both the same, so I can just go for the other 1 inch. OP, yeah, that's definitely true. Not my favorite part about being a triplet, but everyone always sees us as interchangeable. I definitely found it weirder as a kid, but it happens so often it doesn't even register as strange anymore. Commenter, did your other brother, who was taken, have SA allegations against him in college, or did she just make the whole thing up? OP, definitely not. We went to the same college and had overlapping friends, and there's no way me or his GF wouldn't know if so. His current GF is the only girl he's ever had a thing with in college. Update 1. I can never ever talk about my brother like he never existed. To me, that's so disrespectful to his memory. I think you won't understand unless you're in these shoes. If you are and speak about your loved one differently, that's fine. My brothers and I did everything together. We were born and raised as a set of 3. We wore matching outfits and went to the same schools. We immigrated to the US together. We celebrated every birthday and major milestone together. When he died, a part of me died too. I haven't enjoyed my birthday since because instead of being happy I'm older, I just think about how he can't celebrate his own day. No life circumstances change the fact we were born as triplets. I could never say I have only one brother because to me that's not true. My other brother and parents speak the same way. A lot of people in my grief support group do too. No one has ever gotten upset at me and have been very understanding about it. However, people have been weird when I used to say he was dead up front, soon after his death, which is why I switched in the first place. Which is why I was so stunned Kate blew up at me. But I think I might consider being more blunt. I guess someone's gonna be mad or weird about it no matter how I say. So I was too chicken to talk in person to my administration manager right away after this post and all of the help. I emailed her when I left for work Monday, and she was still there for another 2 hours, and asked to talk in person today before clinic started. Work was definitely weird, but I just avoided Kate and those girls and got help from other staff when needed. I talked early today to my manager after she read my email, and she was horrified. Apologized to me again and told me all three would be dealt with. But seems like she was most angry at Kate. She didn't guarantee exactly anything would happen because she still has to do an investigation and get everyone's sides. But I think they will definitely be punished some way. I don't know if that's getting fired or suspension or just scolded. But that made me happier. I think I should clarify my coworkers other than those three haven't been icing me out, just whispering because they know something happened between us. But I like them, and they're very nice to me. I didn't talk to them about it since I took it up higher, but I hope they understand me. I'm not sure if I'm staying at this office. Depends on what happens to the three girls in the next weeks. But I probably won't update again. I know a lot of people wanted me to take legal action, but I really don't want to rock the boat too much. I'm applying to medical school right now and hope to start in fall 2025, so I just want this behind me fast and not have any court stuff on my record for now. If it gets too bad, I'd rather just leave and enjoy my last year of freedom. Commenter. I also have a brother who died, and most of the time when I speak about him, it probably sounds like he's alive to other people. It is weird to start off an anecdote with, "This one time my dead brother and I dash." What you've described is exactly what my sister and I both do. That's completely normal and absolutely not the arsehole for keeping private something so painful. Commenter. Dude, Kate is deranged. I am so very sorry this happened to you, and I get the not mentioning your brother died in casual conversations. I am glad your boss is taking this seriously. Commenter. Kate made up false SA allegations because she couldn't fuck your brother who she didn't know anything about. What a fucking psycho. Update 2. So, I was wrong about not updating again. Things escalated in ways I could not have anticipated, and I just need to get this off my chest. After my meeting with the admin manager, I thought things might start calming down, but oh, how wrong I was. The next day at work, Kate was nowhere to be seen. I didn't want to get my hopes up, but I thought maybe the admin manager had taken action already. Unfortunately, my relief was short-lived. During lunch, one of the other girls from the trio, let's call her Jessica, decided to confront me. In the middle of the break room, with everyone watching, she accused me of lying about Kate spreading false rumors. She claimed that Kate was just concerned about the safety of our office and that I was trying to ruin Kate's life because she had exposed my brother. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My blood was boiling, but I kept my cool. I told Jessica that I had no reason to lie and that Kate had fabricated everything. Then I said something I hadn't planned. I mentioned that the admin manager was already investigating and that Kate was likely facing consequences. Jessica went pale and stormed out of the room, leaving me standing there with half of my coworkers staring at me like I just dropped a bomb. The rest of the day was tense, to say the least. By the time I got home, I was emotionally drained and ready to collapse. But the chaos wasn't over. That evening, I got a call from my brother's girlfriend, Mia. Apparently, Kate had found Mia on social media and messaged her some insane, twisted story about how I had been trying to sabotage my brother's relationship by hiding a third brother from her. According to Kate, my deceased brother and I were involved in some kind of weird cover-up to keep Mia from discovering some imaginary scandal. The sheer insanity of it left me speechless. Mia was furious at Kate, not me, and reassured me that she didn't believe a word of it. She was just calling to give me a heads up because she thought Kate was dangerous and wanted me to be careful. At this point, I felt like I was in some twisted soap opera. The next morning, when I walked into work, the tension was even worse. Jessica and the other girl from the trio, let's call her Sarah, were whispering and giving me death glares. I tried to ignore them, but it was impossible. I went to my admin manager's office first thing to update her on what happened with Mia and ask if anything had been done yet. She looked stressed, which worried me, but she assured me that things were being handled. However, she also warned me that Kate had already started spreading rumors outside of work. I felt my stomach drop. This wasn't just a work issue anymore, this was bleeding into my personal life, and I had no idea how far Kate was willing to go. I barely made it through the day. When I left the office, I noticed that someone had keyed my car. Deep scratches across the side, clearly done with malicious intent. I had no proof it was Kate, but I had a sinking feeling it wasn't a coincidence. By the time I got home, I was a mess. I talked to my family about everything, and they were furious, especially my brother. He wanted to confront Kate directly, but I convinced him to let the admin manager handle it. The last thing I needed was more drama. Then, this morning, the final bomb dropped. I woke up to a string of anonymous messages on social media. The first few were just bizarre ramblings about how I was living a lie and how my fake family was going to be exposed. But then, there were threats. Real, tangible threats against me and my brother. Whoever was sending them claimed they knew where we lived and made it clear that they were watching us. That was it. I'm done playing nice. I went straight to the police and filed a report. I also forwarded everything to my admin manager and let her know that this has gone beyond an office dispute. This is now a safety issue. She seemed genuinely concerned and promised that she would escalate the matter to the clinic's owners. As of now, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm terrified that this psycho, whether it's Kate or someone else she's involved, is going to actually do something. My family is on high alert, and my brother's girlfriend is staying with us for the time being. I'm not sure if I can go back to that office, but I also don't want to run away and let Kate win. I feel like I'm living in a nightmare, and I don't know how it's going to end. All I know is that I can't keep living like this, waiting for the next attack. Maybe I'll move, maybe I'll change jobs, or maybe something will happen that forces the situation to a head. But until then, I'm stuck in limbo, trying to stay sane in a world that's gone completely off the rails. Sorry for the long rant, but I needed to get this out. I don't know if I'll update again, but if I do, I hope it's with better news. Comments, commenter. OMG, this has gotten so out of hand. You're doing the right thing by going to the police. Kate sounds absolutely unhinged. Please stay safe and keep us updated if you can. We're all rooting for you. Commenter. This is beyond crazy. Good on you for taking action. I can't believe this started over something so trivial. I hope you and your family stay safe. Commenter. You're handling this way better than I would. I would have lost it on Kate a long time ago. Props to you for keeping your cool. Don't let her get to you. She's clearly projecting her own issues onto you. Update 3. I honestly didn't think I'd be writing another update, but things have taken an even crazier turn, and I'm starting to feel like I'm stuck in a horror movie. I'll try to keep this as organized as possible, but bear with me, it's been a whirlwind. So, after the police report and the threats, I was on edge, constantly looking over my shoulder. I started driving a different route to work, avoiding the usual places I'd stop by, and even switched up my routine at home. My brother and his girlfriend, Mia, were really supportive, and we all kind of hunkered down together, trying to figure out what the hell to do next. Then, 2 days ago, I got a call from the police. They had traced the anonymous messages back to a burner phone, which was purchased at a convenience store not too far from my work. They couldn't definitively say it was Kate, but they were investigating any surveillance footage from the store. Meanwhile, I was trying to keep it together and still go to work like nothing was happening, but it was getting harder and harder. That same day, things took a sinister turn at the office. I got to work and noticed that Kate, Jessica, and Sarah were all acting even stranger than usual. They weren't just whispering anymore, they were avoiding eye contact with everyone, especially me. At first, I thought maybe they were finally realizing how deep they were in and were scared of the consequences. But then something happened that made my blood run cold. During lunch, I got a message on my phone from an unknown number. It was a photo of me, sitting at my desk. The angle was weird, like it was taken from above, maybe through the ceiling tiles or something. My heart started pounding as I realized someone was watching me at that very moment. I looked up at the ceiling, trying to figure out where the photo could have been taken from, but I couldn't see anything out of the ordinary. I freaked out, left my lunch on the table, and went straight to the admin manager's office. I showed her the photo, and she immediately called the police. They arrived quickly, took my statement, and started searching the office. Everyone was asked to stay in the break room while they conducted their search. After what felt like hours, one of the officers came into the break room and called Kate, Jessica, and Sarah into the hallway. The tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. The rest of us just sat there, whispering to each other, trying to figure out what was going on. Finally, the officer came back and asked if I could step outside. When I did, I saw that they were detaining Kate. She was handcuffed, and her face was flushed with anger or maybe fear. Jessica and Sarah were standing off to the side, looking absolutely terrified. It turns out that during their search, the police found that Kate had installed some kind of mini camera in one of the ceiling tiles above my desk, the same kind used in baby monitors or home security systems. She'd been watching me for who knows how long, and when I got that message, she was probably the one who sent it. They took Kate away, and I was left standing there, numb. It was surreal, like something out of a bad thriller. The police didn't give me many details, but from what I gathered, Kate had been spiraling ever since she started working here. She'd become obsessed with me and my brothers, especially my deceased brother, whom she never even met. It's like she created this whole alternate reality where she was the hero, and I was some villain keeping her from the truth. Jessica and Sarah were both crying by this point, claiming they had no idea how far Kate had gone and that they thought it was all just harmless drama. I didn't believe them for a second, but I was too exhausted to argue. The admin manager told them to go home for the day and that their involvement would be reviewed as part of the ongoing investigation. The rest of the day passed in a blur. The office was eerily quiet, and nobody really knew what to say or do. I tried to focus on my work, but my mind was racing. I was still shaken by the photo and the fact that Kate had been watching me. Who knows what else she did while I was unaware? When I got home, I broke down. My brother and Mia were there to support me, and for the first time since this whole thing started, I let myself cry. I cried for my brother who died, for the madness I was now living in, and for the fact that I couldn't understand why any of this was happening. The police are still investigating, and I've been advised to stay away from work until they're done. I don't know if I can go back there, knowing that someone I worked with was stalking me in such a creepy, invasive way. I'm considering pressing charges, but I don't want to drag this out any longer than necessary. I just want my life back. For now, I'm staying with my parents in another town, trying to regroup and figure out my next steps. My medical school applications are still in, and I'm hoping to focus on that as a way to move forward. But honestly, I'm not sure what's next. All I know is that I'm not the same person I was a few months ago. This whole experience has changed me in ways I'm still trying to understand. I wish I had a more satisfying conclusion, but the truth is, I don't know how this will end. Maybe Kate will get the help she clearly needs. Maybe I'll be able to move on and forget this nightmare ever happened. Or maybe this is just the beginning of a long, difficult road ahead. I guess I'll find out. Commenter. Holy shit. I can't believe Kate went that far. Please take care of yourself and don't hesitate to press charges if it will help you feel safer. You don't deserve any of this. Commenter. This is beyond disturbing. I'm so sorry you've had to go through all of this. It's good that the police are involved now. Stay strong, you'll get through this. Commenter. I'm glad you're staying with your parents for now. You need to feel safe and supported. Whatever you decide to do next, we're all rooting for you. Keep us updated if you can, but focus on your own well-being first. Update 4. I genuinely didn't think this nightmare could get any worse, but here I am with yet another update. At this point, I'm questioning everything: my sanity, my safety, even my future. I'm sorry if this is a bit scattered, but I'm still trying to process everything that's happened in the past few days. After I moved in with my parents, things were supposed to calm down, right? I was supposed to feel safe, but even there, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. I started noticing weird things, like my phone's battery draining faster than usual, or the Wi-Fi acting strangely. I know that sounds paranoid, but after everything that's happened, I can't help it. My dad, who is a bit of a tech geek, suggested we check my devices for any signs of tampering. I agreed, mostly to put my mind at ease, but I wasn't really expecting to find anything. Well, I was wrong. My dad discovered a weird app on my phone that I didn't recognize. It was hidden deep in the settings, something you'd never find unless you were looking for it. He did some digging and found out it was a tracking app. Someone had been tracking my location, my texts, even listening in on my calls. I felt like I was going to be sick. How long had this been going on? And more importantly, who was behind it? My thoughts immediately went to Kate, but she was in police custody, right? I called the police to report what we found, and they sent someone over to check it out. They confirmed it was definitely a tracking app, but they couldn't say for sure who put it there. My heart was pounding the entire time they were there, and when they left, I felt even more vulnerable. If it wasn't Kate, then who? Or worse, was she somehow still pulling the strings? The police recommended I change all my passwords, get a new phone, and be extra cautious. They also mentioned they were still investigating Kate and that she might have had help. I didn't even know what to think anymore. Who else could be involved? Jessica? Sarah? Someone else at the office? I felt like I couldn't trust anyone. Then, the next day, the final straw hit. My parents live in a pretty quiet neighborhood where everyone knows each other. So when an unfamiliar car started parking outside our house every night, my parents noticed immediately. It was the same car, just sitting there with tinted windows. It would stay for hours, then leave. My dad tried approaching it once, but as soon as he got close, the car sped off. I was terrified. The police were called again, and they put a patrol car near our house to keep an eye out. But whoever it was never came back while the patrol car was there. It was like they knew. I was spiraling at this point, barely able to sleep, constantly checking the windows, my phone, everything. My family was worried sick, and I could see the stress weighing on them too. I didn't want to be the reason they were living in fear, but I didn't know what else to do. I couldn't stay, but where would I go? I couldn't live like this anymore, always looking over my shoulder, waiting for the next horrible thing to happen. Yesterday, I made the decision. I packed up my things and left town. I didn't tell anyone except my brother and Mia where I was going, not even my parents. It broke my heart to leave them without knowing when I'd be back, but I couldn't put them at risk any longer. My brother and Mia are the only people I trust right now, and they helped me find a place to stay in a different state, far away from anyone who might know me. I'm writing this from a small, nondescript apartment in a city where I don't know a single person. I've changed my number, gotten a new phone, and I'm trying to disappear for a while. I hate that it's come to this, but I don't see any other option. The police are still investigating, and they've promised to keep me updated, but I don't have much faith left in the system. If someone could hack my phone, stalk me, and harass me even while under investigation, what's stopping them from finding me again? As for Kate, I still don't know what's going on with her. Last I heard, she was being held for psychiatric evaluation, which honestly doesn't surprise me at this point. I hope she gets the help she clearly needs, but I can't lie, I am also terrified of what she might do if she ever gets out. I don't know if she's the one behind the tracking in the car outside my parents' house, or if there's someone else involved, but I can't take any chances. I'm planning to stay off the grid for a while, focus on my mental health, and try to rebuild some semblance of a normal life. I've put my medical school applications on hold for now. There's no way I can concentrate on that with everything else going on. Maybe someday I'll be able to go back to school, but right now, survival is my priority.